Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking about a very interesting, important subject called reciprocity. So we could call this, I suppose, this video today, the art of reciprocity. And as creators and musicians and artists, etc., most of us want to be visible, don't we? We don't want to stay hidden in the corner, hopefully. And that's not a wrong desire. You need to be seen. I mean, Jesus said, basically said, "Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may witness your good works and offer praise to your Father in heaven." That could be your good works, as I've said before, could definitely be your art and your creativity. I've been reading a really good book on a marketing book, right? It's one of like the standard primers on the subject. It's called Influence. It's by a guy called Robert Cialdini. And there are 7 main factors or keys to persuasion, to influencing people to buy or to look at your work or to consider it. The first is reciprocation, which is what we're going to talk about today. Commitment and consistency is another one. Social proof, liking, authority, scarcity, and unity. And we probably will go through, at some point, we'll probably go through all these because it's really, really helpful to build a foundation. Because so many artists and creatives, they're throwing their seed out and hoping for the best. And you've got to realize is that, there are principles at work in the kingdom and in the world that, if you understand, are really quite helpful. And human beings generally all behave in the same kind of way. And if you understand that, really will gives you a bit of wisdom, really. So diving into I can't say that word, can I? Reciprocity. That's it. I actually like the word, reciprocity. It's a great word. And it's a great concept as well. It's a really good concept, I believe. And it's what it means is basically is when you give, you expect something back. It's a social norm, actually. So in business lingo, it's about offering value and anticipating someone else is going to give you something back in some form. Actually, when I was writing this article, well, it was last week actually, but I had a bit of an example of this, the power of this for us as human beings. I went to get these glasses fixed at the local opticians, and the guy's very generous in there, actually, and I always have a little chat with him. And I had 2 pairs of glasses this time to be fixed, and I said, "Oh, my glasses are broken. Can you fix them?" And he fixed both of them, and he never wants payment, and it's funny because I think this happens every time. Every time I sort of say, "Oh, can I buy?" I always want to buy something because I feel obliged. But I suppose he's quite a terrible salesman, really, because he basically puts me off buying anything. I do go there to have my eyes tested. But, the obligation's really powerful to buy something when somebody gives you something free, or it should be, actually. That's the power of reciprocity. And it's very biblical principle. I mean, you find it in the Bible a lot. I mean, let's give some scriptures. So Luke 6, verse 38. Give and it will be given to you, for with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So true generosity isn't about expecting returns. and about genuine love and compassion, of course. And really, that's got to be the motive behind even what we're talking about. Similarly, I mean, the golden rule that Jesus encapsulated, do unto others as you have them do unto you, is a similar principle, isn't it? Matthew 7, verse 12. And really, I mean, the gospel, to be honest, is the biggest example of this ever, isn't it? Before, while we were yet sinners, Christ loved us. God loved us and sent his son. He acted before we even moved. And even if we don't move, even if we don't respond, the free gift stands, as it were. It's like the free gift isn't dependent on our response. That's the generosity of Abba. That's the generosity of God. We love because he first loved us. He moved first. And I heard this is in the book, actually. So I heard this very, very interesting story that I didn't know. The Cuban Missile Crisis, 1963, which is the year I was born, has a hidden story of reciprocity that actually saved the world. The story that most people believe is that actually, the Russians backed down from putting their missiles in Cuba because Kennedy stayed strong and didn't budge. Actually, the real story is a little bit more nuanced than that. Basically, behind the scenes, and he did it, but he didn't want to look. He wanted to look strong, so this was behind the scenes. America actually moved first, and actually moved its missiles from Turkey, relocated them before Russia. And so because of that response, Russia felt obliged and actually reciprocated. You see the power of the important power of reciprocity. And coming to marketing, because that's what I suppose the real, I want to practically for you guys, the basic tool is the lead magnet, isn't it? This can be in either, a manual lead magnet, something you give when you're actually talking to people or fairs and things like that, or it could be online. So it could be an online offering. This is something we've probably encountered a lot. And it could be an ebook or a sample, PDF, etc., in exchange for the contact information, which normally, is an email address online. So, if you're in person, it could be your phone number or something. But that gesture is rooted in reciprocity, and it fosters trust, because you're giving a sample away of your work. You obviously don't give away the whole meal, but give away something that's valuable, and it builds trust. People get to know you, they get to like you. And that's another principle in marketing as well. It's relational. It basically fosters relationship, and people get a chance to trust you. There's a small obligation, but there's little risk, and they get to know what you do and whether it's worth them participating. But I want you to also to think of other ways you can use this principle. I mean, we sometimes, we need to share other artists' work. We need to do things that don't only promote ourselves, but promote others. I love doing that with my Love Art group, for example. I love promoting others' work. Get into a habit of it. It's a great feeling. Give, it's more blessed to give than to receive, Jesus said. And Philippians says this, 2 verse 3 to 4. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you the interests of others. So it's a really Christian principle there, isn't it? The way Christ loved us. Value others higher than yourselves. All good business really revolves around service. And if it's all about money and it's all about you, then you're likely to fail, basically. So, this is a principle that works. because we're human beings, and it will work universally. Yeah, collaboration as well is kind of reciprocity as well, isn't it? It's a give and a take in a partnership, isn't it, where we're working with others. So yeah, so that's another little, and maybe you could think of some more. There was an interesting story as well of, you can also build this after the event as well. So, send a thank you note. It just builds that reciprocity. A coffee shop I heard of, this is from the book as well, gifted random patrons with a complimentary coffee. And that worked really well in building 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 I forgot the word for a minute, but basically people really went back there every time, because in fact, if you do it randomly, it's evidently builds even more, is even more powerful, because they never know when they're going to get a free coffee. And it was random as well, and it really built a really good brand awareness. So let's just finish with a negative, though. This is very important, actually, because often you'll find, this is the trouble with giving away something apparently free, with like a lead magnet. Unfortunately, people can take advantage of that. And, have you ever had that expression that, the biting the hand that feeds it? I've had that happen to me a few times. And you need to build boundaries, where people will take lots from you and then really act negatively towards you for no particular reason at all. And I think there must be some psychological thing there, because they're then distancing themselves from you. And it can be really quite hurtful, actually. You've given them all this stuff generously, and then suddenly they bite the hand and they act really quite nastily towards you. So, if people take and never intend to give back, that's kind of exploitation, isn't it? Let's not any of us get into that. Let's always, honor others. And, one-sided transactions are not really good, are they, in that sense, actually? I believe reciprocity is a really godly principle. There should always be an exchange of value. Because that's how the kingdom works. That's how the world works, in that sense. Well, how the world should work. It doesn't always work like that, because people are sinful and everything else. And they can be manipulative, and they're motivated by less noble means. So anyway, let's make sure we don't do that, and we don't expect, we don't rob people actually of what actually they should be rewarded of. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that and found that useful. But think of ways you can apply that in your your artistic business, ministry, or whatever you're doing. But foster generosity is really the key here. So anyway, thanks for watching.